Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I of course am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm pretty excited because I've got a very special webisode. This is the relaunch of my series Comics, Cartoons, and Coffee, where I talk about comics, cartoons, while enjoying a fresh brew. Before we get into it, be sure to like this video, share it out to all your friends, hit that subscribe button no matter what platform you are watching it on. I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Today is kind of a somber day. I know probably my Plus Ultra shirt is throwing you off. You thought, oh, is Jacob going to talk about anime today? Sadly, not about anime. I come to you because it's an end of an era. As far as animation cinema, you see Disney, when they acquired 20th Century Fox, you know, that's how they got the rights to X-Men, Star Wars, Alien, Indiana Jones. They also acquired a studio known as Blue Sky Studios, and they were kind of made during the whole rise of Pixar. They were kind of a studio that really challenged Pixar for dominance in the realm of 3D animation. Now, they didn't achieve that goal, and they were absorbed into 20th Century Fox because they had a really good working relationship with Fox. And it is kind of sad because Disney acquired them through the acquisition, and so I was kind of hoping that Disney would absorb them into Pixar, or that they would offload them, like maybe sell them to a different company. But the news came down not too long ago, at least as of the recording of this video, that Disney decided to shut down Blue Sky. And it's such a shame because even though, like I said, they never really achieved the level of dominance that places like DreamWorks or Pixar, or even their 2D predecessors ever got to, they still delivered some really good levels of animation as far as filmmaking, as far as kids movies. And I just thought it would be really cool, since they're officially closed, they're not making any more Blue Sky features. I wanted to go through and highlight some of their best works, but I'm also going to rank their whole catalog. They made a total of 13 films. Now, obviously, a bunch of other shorts and some TV stuff, but I'm talking about specifically their theatrical releases from Ice Age to Spies in Disguise. So Ice Age was their very first one. Spies in Disguise was their very last one. And they got it out right before the Disney acquisition. And I just wanted to rank them. Now, please note, I'm not saying that any of these movies are bad. So if one of the ones you like ended up on the lower end of the list, it's not an insult. This is just my opinion of where they should rank. And so I wanted to do this because, like I said, they were a big part of my childhood, of my teen years, and even into my adult years. Y'all know, even as someone who's over 30, I really enjoy animated features. It's something that I find really good. It's one of my favorite art forms as far as filmmaking. So Blue Sky, opening when I was young, and then closing now that I'm in my 30s. It is kind of a sad day, especially since they only got to 13. I thought they would go on forever. Without further ado, here is my official ranking of the Blue Sky Studios films. Alright, so the very bottom of the list, this is Ice Age Collision Course, and this is actually the final Ice Age film. And you might be screaming, no! But really and truly, the Ice Age franchise kind of fizzed out after 3. I didn't really see the point of them going beyond a trilogy, but they ended up making 2 more, and this is the last one, Ice Age Collision Course. Didn't really care for it. I thought the humor was repetitive. I thought the jokes were kind of repeats of previous films. Not too keen on it. Of course, the voice acting and the animation, superb, stunning. Just as far as where it lands, I didn't think that it succeeded where the previous entries had. So number 12, we have Rio II. So this is a sequel no one asked for, no one wanted, but Blue Sky made it anyway. Again, I just felt like it was kind of a frivolous adventure. I didn't really care for how the characters had grown from the first film. Not too keen on it. I, again, loved the animation, especially when the birds are flying. It looks spectacular. It's beautiful, really well made art. And again, nothing wrong with the voice actors. They all did their job superbly. I just don't think it landed very well. So number 11 would be Ice Age Continental Drift. And this is one, again, don't know why it exists. A fourth Ice Age film didn't make much sense to me, and I really didn't get where they were going with it. Didn't really care for it. The story, they had to introduce like children into the story because they didn't know where to go with the other characters. Not my favorite. Didn't really think it was that impressive. All right, number 10, we have Robots. Now, Robots came out, and when I watched it when I was younger, I really loved it. I thought it was spectacular. My whole family actually went to see it in theaters. We thought it was really good, and of course, the late, great Robin Williams is in it. He does a spectacular job. Just was not my cup of tea, and when I watched it as an adult, and I feel that it's one that doesn't age very well. So when it came out, it was really good. A lot of robot themed stuff was coming out around this time, but watching it later, it feels like it didn't age well as a property. The animation wasn't much of a big improvement. It came out right after Ice Age, and I don't feel like they advanced a lot. They just were kind of like, hey, we need to put out another feature so we can prove our worth to Fox. And again, Paul Giamatti is in it. Robin Williams is in it. All do spectacular jobs with their respective roles, but just didn't really impress me. This leads us, of course, to number 9, which is the very first Rio. Now, this film was actually a movie that I liked when I first saw it in theaters. It's really good. It's about this woman who finds out her pet bird is an endangered species, so she gets invited to come to South America, to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and he's supposed to basically get with a female of his species so they can help repopulate them, and they can get taken off the endangered species list. But then he gets captured by some poachers, and it's really good, very adventurous. I did enjoy it. I just think on the scale, it's just kind of one of their subpar ones. Really well done. I really like the character designs in this movie. The birds look like real birds, except for their faces, because they've got that, that animated bird thing happening. But again, really impressive, very good character designs. Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. A lot of people didn't like this movie. I actually did like it. This is, of course, is number 8. Dawn of the Dinosaurs actually did do something good for the Ice Age franchise. It brought them into sort of a new realm where all the characters are now meeting dinosaurs, and you've got this crazy hunter-like character involved and everything in between. It's actually a pretty good film. I actually did enjoy it. I thought the humor was good, but again, you kind of see the decline of where they were going as a company with this franchise, particularly, not broadly, but you could kind of tell that they were running out of ideas. But I still did like it. I still thought it was funny. And of course, Sid and Scrat, they stole the movie. All right, so number 7, and this was their very last feature, Spies in Disguise. And again, this is one that was not critically well received. The critics, because they're snobbish and boorish, hated this movie. I actually thought it was kind of funny. Now, I actually just watched this movie. I didn't see it when it came out in theaters. So they recently put it on HBO Max, which is weird because I thought Disney had the rights to all the Blue Sky stuff, but it was on HBO Max. So I watched it, and I thought it was funny. I thought it was really good. It's, for those of you who aren't familiar, Will Smith plays like this super spy, kind of this sleek secret agent who he's after this villain, a cyborg villain who steals these drones, an army of drones, and he has to stop them. Tom Holland plays a geeky lab assistant who accidentally turns him into a pigeon. And from the trailers, I thought this movie looked dumb, which was another reason I didn't go see it in theaters. But I was pleasantly surprised when I watched it at home. It's actually perfect for home viewing. Probably theater experience would not have been that good, but I did think it was funny. That's why it's actually a little bit higher on this list than probably a lot of you were expecting. But I did like it. I did enjoy it. I thought it was funny. Tom Holland and Will Smith, they have really good chemistry. Their back and forth is actually what makes the movie really good. I did think the kind of message of the film was a little cheesy, but again, it's a kid's movie, so you got to take it for what it is. So number 6 is the second Ice Age film, The Meltdown, and this is, of course, when the animals, their little enclosure where they live is melting, so they have to make their way across the valley and to where this boat is, and they run into all these creatures who want to eat them and stuff. Jay Leno is in it. Now, this movie is actually pretty good. It is a good sequel, a good follow-up to the first Ice Age film. I think it had the same kind of heart that the first film had, and it really brought it into light, and it really fleshed it out. It really expanded the franchise, I thought, really well. Animation, again, I don't really see it as what's the word I'm looking for? I don't see it as an improvement. Like, I don't feel like the effects were upgraded any, but I still thought it was a good film. It was a fun film. I laughed all the way through it. Even when I watch it as an adult, I still get enjoyment out of The Meltdown. So there it is for that one. And of course, number 5 is Epic. Now, you can tell they actually took a lot of influence from anime in this film by the way they do the action, by the way they by the way they tell the story. So it's about this scientist who his teenage daughter comes to stay with him, and he finds out that, or he is doing research because he thinks things like flies, like they exist on another plane where time is moving fast for them but slow for us humans. So they move faster than us. That's why flies can kind of zip around like this and whatnot. Well, his teenage daughter doesn't believe him. She accidentally stumbles on this kingdom, and the princess of the forest gets killed. I know, super dark for a kids movie, by this locust-like creature who he wants to conquer the forest. So the princess shrinks the teenage daughter down, and then she goes on this adventure where they have to save like this seed, and this seed will produce a new princess, a new queen for the forest. And it's a really good adventure. It did have some hiccups with the story. It had a couple of pacing issues where I felt some scenes kind of dragged on longer than they needed to, and then others were super fast and you didn't know where it was going. But it's actually a pretty good film. I did enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and this one does show improvement on their animation styles. Blue Sky, they really upticked it here and really made the action really smooth, really sleek. Again, the character designs are very well. The bad guy, he does look truly terrifying. Loved it. So number 4 is Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a Who. Believe it or not, this is not one that's been self-canceled by Dr. Seuss's family. Basically, Horton the elephant, he's here's a who, and all the who's down in Whoville, they're like on this spec, and no one believes him. They think he's gone crazy, and so like a vulture and these kangaroos and these baboons, I think, they're like all after him because they want to destroy the flower to prove that there's nothing on it, and all it takes is a little yelp to show. I really like this movie because there is this thing in society where we, and for some reason it's really growing, and it really bothers me, where a person is deemed useless because they might have a mental deficiency, they might have a disease, they might not be able to live well, or there's a problem with them in the womb. And I really like this movie because it shows that no, everyone everyone has human dignity, and it's a very moving, very special story. I loved the book when I was a kid. So yeah, Horton Hears a Who, something special. It was really well written by Dr. Seuss. Number 3, Ferdinand. Now, I really like this story. It was a kid's book, and Blue Sky adapted it into film with John Cena voicing Ferdinand. So it's about this little bull who he's being raised to be a bull that fights in the ring with a matador in Spain. And what happens is his father bull, doesn't come back from a fight one day. So Ferdinand doesn't want to grow up to be a bull that fights. So he runs away, and he gets adopted by this little girl and her dad, and he grows up on their land, and he becomes Ferdinand. And it's just a very heartwarming, special story. And my wife, she's real big into protect the animals and make sure that you're not making them suffer. She's not a vegan or an animal rights activist or whatever, but she is very good about stressing the importance of treating animals not barbarically. And I really think that this story is a good pronouncement of that. I really feel that Ferdinand as a story is really good. It really highlights how we can love our pets no matter what kind of pets they are, and I really think that is really cool. Number 2. Now, I actually struggled whether to make this number 1 or not, but number 2 is the Peanuts movie. I am a huge Charlie Brown fan. From when I was little, I would read the Sunday Funnies with Charlie Brown, and I was genuinely sad when I think I was a teenager when Charles Schultz passed away. He brought so much love and laughter with his characters, with Charlie Brown and Lucy and Linus and his little sister. It's such a beautiful story. And of course, his faithful companion, the dog known as Snoopy. Every kid that I knew wanted a dog either like Snoopy or Pork Chop from Doug. Those were always the two highlights of the my little circle of friends. Obviously, that's anecdotal, but I really love this movie. It captures the wholesomeness of it, and even shows just like how children will go to great lengths to do something that they believe in. And even with Snoopy, you can see the imagination of him and his little bird friend, Woodstock. They go on these imaginary adventures where Snoopy is a ace fighter pilot who's always after the Red Baron. And they even have shots of that. And one of the cool things about that story is the actor who voiced Snoopy way back in the olden days, like around the time of A Charlie Brown Christmas or It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, he had passed away, and they actually used archival audio of his voices to do Snoopy, which I thought that was really cool. That was a really good nod to him. And like I said, I really struggled because I wanted to make it number 1, but number 1, I have to go with their very first feature. It is Ice Age. And the reason I say Ice Age is because it put Blue Sky Studios on the map. No one was really taking them seriously. They were, before they did this feature, they had just been doing special effects. Like, they even worked with Disney on doing Titan AE and a few other features where you can kind of see their artwork in, but this was the first time where they stepped up to do an animated feature-length movie. And it's also a really, again, comedic but heartwarming story. And if I was to sum up Blue Sky Studios' legacy, that's exactly what I would say. It's a heartwarming legacy. Now, they did play it safe a little bit with their movies, while also exploring original stories like the first Ice Age, like Epic, like Rio, like Robots. They also played it a little safe, with the Ice Age franchise, and then Rio II, and then also, adapting other people's work like Dr. Seuss or Charles Schultz. But in the end, I think all of us who saw Ice Age in theaters or saw robots in theaters, even if now we kind of go, oh, maybe they didn't age that well. When we look into their catalog, we see adventure, we see wholesomeness, we see success, we see failure, we see individuality of the characters. And I've talked about the wholesomeness and the imagination and the creativity, but as far as the individualism of it, robots, the whole plot revolves around a single robot who doesn't want to be like everyone else, and he challenges another robot who says all robots should be the same, and he stands out, and then his friends stand out with him. And through their act, they bring their community of robots together. I think that's an incredible success story. And it's the same with Ice Age. Each one of the characters, though they are friends and they work together on all their adventures, each one of them has a distinct personality. Manny with his pessimism, Diego with his kind of sense of adventure and wanting to be a warrior, and Fed the Floth with his sort of laziness and desire to want to stick out. All of these characters come together to represent something that is, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, that is something we all desire, and that is to be our own person. Sure, we want to have friends. We want to be a person who gives to society, but we also want to stand out on our own. And I think Blue Sky Films does a really great job of presenting that and showing that. Their creativity, their wholesomeness, and their individuality. I think those three words are what are going to be the Blue Sky Studios legacy. And I'll just say this. I want to once again say how they impacted me as a kid, just watching them. And you know what? I didn't get these deeper themes when I was a kid. All of them went over my head. It wasn't until I rewatched them as an adult and doing research for this that I realized that I saw those deeper themes. And I can see how they influenced me as a child. And that sense of wonder is something even an adult, someone who's over 30, who's married and has a dog and a good job, I can see that. And I never want to lose sight of that sense of wonder, and I hope you don't either. Now, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll come back. I hope you subscribe, share this video, leave me a like, and let me know in the comments, what is your favorite Blue Sky Studios film? Please let me know. Or if you liked one of their shorts. I know I didn't really rank their shorts, or at all, but please let me know which one you like. All my socials are in the description below. I'll see you next time right here on StudioJake, Comics, Cartoons, and Coffee.